Whoops, of course I forgot to press the right button. Greetings, one and all. Happy Santa Day, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all the things. Uh, there was already a question. I hope you're still here, Lobo RC. I'll answer your question. And in just a moment, I'll just say greetings. Uh, my glasses are incredibly dirty, and I swear I tried to wash them before this, but now that I'm looking into the light, hold on. Let me wash them. I know I always do this, but there's a giant light facing me and it's going to drive me nuts. So that 3D printer is my brand new Creality K1 SE. And I am not new to 3D printing. That is my, oh, I don't know. I have many 3D printers. Two of them prior to that are in production to make things. So this part here was made by a ANET A8 Plus, like an ancient printer that has been heavily, well not heavily, but modified so that it's not a fire hazard and so that it can produce semi-decent prints. That K1 SE, Creality K1 SE, is on its third day of use and it has blown my mind. Let me see what this camera view looks like. Haven't really looked at that. The glasses are still like, I'm never going to get them clean. Okay, that's it. It's just, I've had these glasses for too long. It's going to be what it's going to be. Okay, so that thing is blazing fast. It is, I mean, I've watched a ton of reviews about it. And if you're still there, Lobo RC 509, anyway, welcome. Tell me if you're still here in case I'm wasting my time talking about that printer. Um, but yes, I like it. It's very fast. It had no problems. I had no problems with it at all, turning it on, setting it up. Everybody says you can get printing in 3 minutes. You can't get printing in 3 minutes. It calibrates and things for at least 15 minutes or so. But it is a great printer. Even I'm going to use it. Oh, he's gone. So, okay. It doesn't matter. Uh, if you come back someday and watch this, yes, I like that printer very much. It's fast. It's quality. The quality, this was just printed with it. It's smooth. I mean, when you do this with the ANET printed one, I mean, granted, it's like an 8-year-old printer, and it was a piece of crap when it was new. But you can hear that layer lines, and on this one it's so well, it's still, you can hear it, but it's just so smooth. And anyway, so since everybody's gone, the person who asked the question is gone, we will just continue on. No one's here, so I'm talking to the void, which is okay, because the purpose of this, oh, and I gotta fix this mic, hold on, we're gonna go on mute. It's my help to answer questions, and that's okay, because I'm probably wrong about everything anyway. Kind of like I went on a live stream rant after the FCC released something. I can share it. Let's get a little news out of the way since no one's watching. Let's go to the which source is it called? Web page. Oh, I have a button for web page. Oh no, not that web page. Okay, so where is it? It shows it, but it doesn't show it to me, so I gotta find it. There it is. Okay, so there's this. And what we have here is this document released by the FCC, which is now basically just a tool to the orange wannabe dictator of these United States. Anyway, and of course you got to put him in it because he's got to be in everything. He's a little man child. So where is he? He's in here somewhere. He's in here because he's a very, very, very petulant little man child who's got to be treated like a man child. All this is all, UAS and UAS critical components must be produced in the United States. Anybody who tells you there's anything about privacy or anything, give me a break. Okay, that's not what this stream is about. I should probably get off of it. That's my receiver for the Chupito. Okay, so let's get back to so I can see what's going on. Here we go. And then let's put this window back. I have only one. There it is. Chat thing there. Okay. So, oops. What we're going to be working on today is the Chupito. And so I've printed a few, I've designed and customized a few parts for that I was talking about before on the previous stream. And did I say Merry Christmas to everybody? Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Ho, ho, ho. Holidays and all the things. Those are universal. They're not just American holidays, thankfully. Like Thanksgiving is a fake American holiday. But yeah. Strike that from the record. Strike it. Anyway, where was I? We're talking about the Chupito. So since the last live stream, yeah, never mind. I don't know why I went on and showing that document. I went on a rant, a live stream rant, which I've since deleted. The Orange Man will not be able to ban all those things, I hope, and sense has come to me, but I don't know. This is a national security threat, though, according to that document that I was just showing. So just be aware of that. And like I said, Lobo RC 509, if you have any questions about the printer, if you come back, you can come back and ask questions in the chat. If you ask questions later in this video, I'll probably, like in the comments, I'll probably, at least at this point in time, not see them. Because I'm not very good at social media. So I do this stream. If somebody wants to get in touch with me, I don't know what they're going to do. But okay, you're gone again. Okay, so bye. Okay, so we're talking about this airplane, the Chupito. Since the last time we talked, which was just a few days ago, I must have said something insulting because I talked about, yeah, okay, that's cool. It's all right. I extended the motor wires since the last stream, and I've put the motor in, and I haven't cut out any of the foam. Oops, there it is. I got the wires in there. I just pinched them down, and so they go in there without cutting out any bits of foam or anything. So it's a clean install. The wires, the end of the bullet connectors come to that there, and so another change has been made since then. Let me set this down. And that's that I have decided to not go with that gigantic 40 amp ESC. So I've ordered another ESC, and in order to, the best one I could get at the best price, I'm sorry to say, was at the Jungle website. So I ordered an ESC, and I ordered yet another motor because the whole reason for, as I talked about, was possibly I might actually have us do 6S in the future on this. I don't have any 6S batteries at this point in my life, but so this motor is basically for 4S. It's a 2450 kV. So it's going to be a screamer at 4S. We definitely can't run that at 6S. But I did get another motor that's larger and lower kV for 6S. Another Arthur motor. So another Arthur motor. So what else has changed? So that ESC has not come. So we're not going to be wiring up the ESC today, but we can wire up some other things. So, okay, so let's see, what else did I change? So I finalized I printed this on that K1C. I had one in black PLA. I have this, it comes with the K1C. It's not a K1C, it's a K1SE. I'm going to make it into a K1C because I've already made an enclosure for it, and I'm not finished with the top yet. The enclosure is going to be made out of foam board mostly. So don't laugh, but that's just the way, that view that you saw there was that at the preview was the back was the piece of foam board. It's a nice cube. You just put foam board. People are like, oh, it doesn't come with an enclosure. What you just put things on the sides and the top, and it's enclosed, and then you have an enclosure. And then I'm gonna either get a heater or devise one or create one out of one of my what am I trying to say? A filament dryer. Who knows? Who knows? There's plenty of options. Okay, so to get back to this, I printed one of these. This is going to hold the flight controller and the GPS. I printed and I finalized the design. Here it is. So I finalized the design for the FPV pod, and I put this on, well, I only got it on to Thingiverse before the stream started, but I'll put it on my printables and stuff, and I'll put a link for all the videos that have the Chupito. So basically, we're going to fit this all together today, I hope. And I did get the little piece from the Jungle website. So we have, we're going to use these antennas. They are the iFlight. They're iFlight antennas, supposedly. And we got this little tiny MMCX to SMA. So the way I'm thinking is we're going to locate where the antenna is and where it ends up from being in this pod. And I must be so boring. I'm so sorry. That's just the way it is. It's just this way. That's why nobody's watching, because it's boring. I understand. Anyway, so we're gonna put this together. We're gonna fit this camera and this VTX and all the little. There's a little clip, so I made it into a two-piece thing so that I can. This is a 20 by 20 mount, so basically any stack mounted VTX would fit in this system here. So we're going to take this one off and fit, if I can get it off, there we go. And we're going to fit, so this is an AKK FX3 Ultimate DVR VTX. And, oh, I meant to mention that strangely, when you go to AKK's website, they say that they're not selling to anybody else because of the war. You can only buy in quantities of one. I have a feeling I might have to clip the little mount for this because of the way this thing. So this came from the Jungle website, and here's how it's going to work. It's just going to go in there. Okay, so that's in. Hopefully, that's it. I'm not going to be taking it out again. I do see a problem already. I see a problem already. You see, that's why we prototype. I think I'm going to have to build something to keep this from turning. I'm going to have to extend this piece. I'm going to have to redesign this piece, or at least make another piece that has kind of a hex locker type. You see what's going to happen is we're going to mount this thing inside of here. Let's do it. So I redesigned this. Well, I finished the design for this through the iteration. So this was the first just test fitting that I discussed on the last one. So I just drew it out and test fit. Then I did this one. This was printed on the new printer, the K1 SE. K1 SE. Very nice. I mean, just super smooth. I also got the textured plate and the camera. That's thus you can see the anyway. I don't know the previews. But so I tried to put it together, and then I realized that I'm not going to be able to screw it together the way this is. And so then I actually I figured out that I could have left it just like this, but I finalized it by putting bigger holes on this side. So this side inside has a couple little surfaces to keep this off of the side. So here's how it's going to go. I don't know if these are going to go out the back or out the bottom, but there's a hole in the bottom for now. And then let's put this down here and go to, we're going to go to workbench overhead. Oh, and I forgot to discuss my building process. We're going to talk about that since I'm so freaking boring, which I understand I am. But maybe this will be a resource for somebody later. Somebody will find this, some newbie who doesn't know anything like me. Okay, so before we put this in, let's go to the upside down view and let me see if we have the little, oh, and we have my little camera over here. Hello, little camera. So you can see I'm still working on stuff. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to redesign this. So what we'll do is we will measure this and we'll just kind of put like a hex extension onto that. Yeah, it's going to have to. It's going to have to be a little different because what's going to, oh, well, let's just show. I'll demonstrate why. See, already it doesn't fit quite right because of that. So we're going to take my little clippers already. So this will go through a little redesign. This is not the final. Clearly I haven't had time to go through all this, but let's just cut a little bit of this off like that. Let me say again that oh my God, this printer is so nice. I'm just so easily like bamboozled now because I've had such a crappy printer. Okay, so let's get our tools. And put this in. So it's kind of got to get threaded into this first piece a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is this, I kind of worked it out how this gets installed. But I didn't have this on here yet. I wish I would have had that. I would have figured it out that I need to redesign. Okay, so let's kind of leave it like that. So it's screwed in here, sticking out halfway maybe. This is a 10. I think it's a 10 millimeter screw. Let's verify. 10 millimeters. So it's a 10 millimeter M3. I'm only going to use 2 to mount this. Don't need 4. Okay, so we're going to leave it like that. Sticking out. And then this thing spinning freely, sadly. Okay, so then this goes into here. Again, I don't know if I'm going to have the wires going out the back or this bottom. But for now, let's put them out the bottom. These are nice silicone wire. I don't know if these are the wires that came with this or if I had put these on. Don't know. Doesn't matter. Okay, so now that their screws are kind of sticking out, we're going to get them lined up with these holes in there. There's one. And then, obviously, I'm going to screw in from here. And keep going. Oh, yeah, they're barely sticking out, so we're going to get them stuck through more. So now they're coming through there. I'll get the other one now. Maybe. I mean, this is I'm sure everybody's with their families and stuff. I am so glad that I'm just here. Got wife and puppy are upstairs having nice time doing things. Down here doing things. Don't have to drive in traffic or weather or fly or do any of those things this year. Thank goodness. I'm so glad. Okay, this one I'm going to screw in a little bit more. And I'm using nylon nuts on purpose. I'm hoping that I don't have to get those other kind of nuts, the metal ones with the nylock nuts. And I'm hoping it still fits with these nuts on the side. We're about to find out because I have not test fit this into the aircraft yet. Okay, so that's how I kind of planned it to be, except for one thing. I'm going to have to build onto this piece so that it keeps this from spinning. And I guess I'll just do a side flaps. So we'll be taking some measurements and stuff. I'll be taking this back out, of course. Okay, so let's put the camera in. So the way the camera's going to go is the wires are going to have to go through here. Definitely. That connector is going to get cut off. And I don't know what I'm doing with these. I don't know. I don't know what's the deal with this wiring harness. This camera hasn't been used before. New out of the box. What is it? It's a Foxeer Starlight Cam 2, something like that. Okay, so only one screw hole on the side. And I did not change these physical dimensions of this are the same as the physical dimensions of the stock one that came with it, with the kit. Again, this is the TBS Chupito that we're working on. Chupito, am I saying that right? Okay, so let's just put some screws in here. We'll test fit this thing. See how it's going to go. I already put this part up on Thingiverse, but again, this final outside part seems fine, but this little VTX mount, I'm probably going to have to, again, because of this spinny, I'll never be able to tighten the antenna on there from the outside. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So there'll be no antenna on it when you put it into the plane. Okay? That's how we're going to do it. I like the fact that all the Allen keys, the hex size is the same on all the screws I'm using. Plan that out. This is probably going to go out the back and not the bottom. I made a mistake there. Okay, so again, I don't know the camera angle, but this is the top. And the reason you can tell the top is because it has a bigger dip. This isn't exact, as you can see. This isn't exact. This one, I could work on this some more and get it more exact to this contour. You can see, if you can see there, I don't know if you can, you probably can't, but there is a little bit, about half a millimeter to a millimeter difference in some of the exact placement of, like this curve is, this is beefier here. This kind of goes down at more of a sharp angle, and this is more of a shallow angle, so that could be improved a little bit. And then this little bump here is kind of skinnier. It kind of needs to be a little bit wider. The peak of the bump is in the right place, I think, just about. But the kind of the width of the bump is not quite exact. And then the depth of this little thing. So basically these are the clips that clip it in. So it's going to be kind of a pain every time I have to change it, because the way I designed this, it's a mirror, but then it didn't end up in the right place, so I had to move it, and so I have to do things. Okay, I talk a lot and don't get a lot done. Sorry, we're going to stop this at 9 o'clock for sure. And nobody's watching, so it won't even matter. Okay, it's the holidays. All right, so also when you're working on this plane, this is a little kind of a peak here, and I've been swooshing down on it. And so now I'll have a little gap, I'll have a little impression there that I'm going to cover with tape, so there's not like a little to clean up the little ledge. So I'm going to try to keep it on bubble wrap, but same on the top. This little part right here, and this little part right there, and I especially on the bottom, I've smushed it down. And you can really tell I've smushed it down. It leaves like a 2 millimeter ledge. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to pop this in and see if it goes in. I'm first going to look at it from inside here, which you're not going to be able to. Let me go back up here. Whoa! Okay, this may or may not work because, yeah, I can see already what's going to happen is I'm going to have to dig out this channel. Well, first of all, I'm going to have to revise the design. See, I want the antenna. Oh, you can't see. Let me see if I can get you a view of this. There we go. There's a channel at the top of this fuselage, and I want that antenna to be right in the middle of it. So we are going to have to revise the design of this one a bit. I'm going to have to move it over by about, I'm going to say 5 millimeters. I'm going to have to move it over by 5 millimeters, and then even after that, so what's going to happen is the little standoffs here are going to be made taller. And then I may have to adjust my screw size, obviously. And I'm definitely going to have to fit the screws through the top, no matter what. Which is why I made these holes on this side bigger anyway. Okay. I don't know. Do you think we should do that on the live stream? Nobody's watching. I can do whatever the hell I want. I don't need your votes. This is the workshop. This is what you do in a workshop where you're building a plane. Okay, but first let me go through this process then. This is a good point to break off. Whoa. That was weird. A piece of weird dust was flying around. Okay, are we on the right camera? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I actually made some notes. See, I got notes on the whole build process that I'm going through here. And I know this is so boring. Like I said, no one's watching. It's Christmas Eve. I don't care. Part 2, this might be 27 parts. And so first, there are several steps, and the main bullet points, the main steps are the initial planning and part design, and then stage 2 planning, what I call like the second stage of planning, and initial fitting of parts. And that's kind of where basically still obviously where we are right now, although I kind of thought I was in the next stage, which is the final part printing and test fitting of all components. That's the stage I actually thought I was at, like right now. But as I do that final fitting, I'm not at that stage. Am I on the right camera? Who in the hell knows? We're way behind my stream. I'm looking at something here. Hold on. Hold on. I'm confused by my computer. Oh, okay. It's all right. Okay, and so then go after that step 3, that final printing and test fitting of all components. And again, when you're doing a kit like me, if you're kind of anal OCD type person, you're going to not just throw the crap in there. You're going to want something that fits everything. It's like this part of the project for me, is making these things. So that's why it's actually into the workflow. So let's go into some detail about this. Let's say you're just brand new and starting out, and you're going to get a kit. You're going to get a kit like a Chupito, although I don't know if a Chupito should be your first kit, although some people on the net, on the YouTube say, yeah, it should be, or it could be, or it would be. Anyway, excuse me for... So let's, initial planning and part design would be, first you have to, you get a kit. You have a kit. It's not like you don't have anything. All I bought was the foam. So you get some foam, and you get some spars, and you get some, maybe some pieces of hardware for the control surfaces, the control rods, and a motor mount. That's and the FPV mount. You get this too. So you get this FPV mount. You get a few pieces of hardware. You get no electronics at all with the kit. So you have to choose, gather, and order those components, you know. In my case, I did that on a live stream, I believe, on this channel, where I went and said, okay, I'm going to have this component, this component, this component, this component. Well, I've changed half those components since that point in time, and that's part of the process, is that you know, is that you choose your components and gather them if you have like drawers full of stuff like I do, or order things. So like I had to order this little part right here for the antenna, and I ordered these antennas, which we haven't really looked at yet. And I ordered this flight controller because I didn't have, I just wanted to try this. This was the smallest one I could find. It was actually in stock, and that had firmware on the iNav main line and a firmware target, and you know, and that it seemed decent. Now, oh, by the way, this does have one failing, and that's that it doesn't have a buzzer port. Okay, so choose your components. And I chose a motor, which I already had, and an ESC, which now I'm swapping out for an ESC, which I ordered from the Jungle website, which is not here yet, and we'll discuss that when it's here. And so you got electronics, which is the receiver. Oh, by the way, the receiver, which I said on the last live stream, I didn't know what it was. It's a Happy model. That's the brand. It's a Happy model, and it's still a supported receiver. So we'll get into that later. So you choose your electronics, your receiver, your flight controller, your GPS, your servos, and lights if you're going to have lights. Your power portion, which is your motor and your ESC, and your prop and your battery. So I still haven't figured out which battery and what weight and where it's going to be located. Sometimes you kind of got to defer that, especially in my case when I don't really know how it's going to weigh out where the seat. Basically, sometimes your battery is limited by your CG. Is this like a tutorial? Yeah, I kind of wanted to have a section on, the whole planning. So yeah, we're doing a tutorial. So yeah, the battery does sometimes have to wait till later in my case because my planning abilities. So I have not chosen like battery, and I may have to purchase some other batteries also that I don't have on hand. And of course the FPV system. What kind of FPV system? In this case, in my case, for this plane, we're going analog. We're going with a halfway decent camera that I think will be good for all lighting conditions. Um, and a VTX that has good power. I think it's a 800 watt or 1,000 or 1 watt VTX with a built-in DVR. So that'll be nice. So you can have some DVR it won't be digital, but it will be without any radio interference. So you have to figure out, that's stage one, initial planning, part design. So you have to figure out all the parts and then like where you're going to put them, how you're going to mount them in the plane. And then conceptually, you don't necessarily, and then it's like, oh, okay. So the first thing I thought was like, of course, FPV. Actually, the first thing I did design was the flight controller GPS, because I didn't want to. A lot of times I glue the GPS to the hatch, and then that's got wires and it's a mess, and I didn't want to have to do that. So this little GPS is so tiny. This is a HGLRC M100 Mini GPS, and I believe it's just a M10 GPS. And so it's going to fit in that little space right there with the lid on it. And then the flight controller fits down here. So the first thing I had to do was, okay, figure out a design for that, which of course I totally screwed up at the beginning. So, I made things like, yeah, this one. Is this one? No, this is one of the correct ones. I've gotten rid of all the ones that are not right. I probably threw them in the little plastic bin or something. So to be honest, I don't know where they are. But I've gone through a few iterations, and at first I made the mistake of putting the flight controller in the back and the GPS in the front, because I thought, I don't know why. This is toward the front of the plane. This is toward the rear of the plane. And that doesn't fit because the flight controller can't fit back here because there's some foam bits. So the first thing you do is you print one of these things out, and you discover immediately that it doesn't work. So you go back to the drawing board. And so in this stage, you're doing that. In that initial planning and part design, you're kind of design the part, and then you kind of initially design the part, select the components, and then you move on to stage two. And that's kind of basically where we're at. We're refining the design, because here I thought this was finished, but it's not. It's not finished because, one, the antenna is not in the center, which I should have, by modeling this, I should have known this already in Fusion, because these are separate components inside of a single model file or Fusion drawing or whatever it is. So I should have seen that this wasn't going to be centered already, and I didn't really pay attention to that. So this antenna I want centered into this module so that it's in the center of the airplane. And obviously, now that I even take a closer look, as you get into this little cavity in here, there's a little channel along the top inside. And even that little channel, I'm probably going to have to cut out a little bit. And that's going to suck, but we'll do it. We'll do it. These are the things you have to do when you're in a kit. And even if you would buy the whole kit and caboodle from TBS with this, the plug and play with all the, it still doesn't come with FPV system, right? I don't know. Nobody's here to answer my questions. Okay, so that would be stage 2. That's where we are now. Final fitting of the parts and components. That's where we have to try to be. And I've already done some of that, because in some of that I'm like, okay, print the final parts, which I thought this was. Test fit and install, kind of plan. So we're talking about stage 3 now of your process of building a kit plane. Yeah. So you print the parts, you test fit and plan the install order. Like certain things have to be done first. Like you should probably always do the wings first. Get the wings fixed, get the servos in the wings, get the control surfaces going. Make sure that you can put the wings onto the fuselage and get the wires where you need them to go, the servo wires. So that would be like test fitting, planning. We test fit the servos in the last stream to make sure that they fit in the space. And the initial flight controller configuration, which is something I've also done off stream, plugged it into the computer. Now I remember that I was going to update it too. Hey, so I'm building a hot rod. Yes. Are you still here? No, you're not here. But hey, greetings, Sean's little house of horrors. Yeah, so I'm building a hot rod. Anyway, so I'm going to finish this talk. I'm going to finish it because I started it, so I might as well finish it. Greetings, Sean, if that's you here. I'm just going through the steps here. In case some like newbie says, oh, I want to build a kit plane like this. What is the whole process? So we're on step 3, basically, final printing and test fitting of all components. And so yes, I've done part of that already, even though we're in step 2, but I've done part of step 3 already, which is, several things: test fitting everything, final planning of the wiring, and install order. I keep forgetting that. So you got to figure out like what you're going to do first, what you're going to do second, what you're going to do third. And like the motor has to go in, and I've already done that too, and figured out where the ESC wires have to end up. That might be just slightly too long, but before they were slightly too short. So there's that. So I've done kind of some of part 3, step 3, even though I'm really still in step 2, because I got ahead of myself, because I thought I was done with step 2. So then once you've got everything planned out, what order you're going to put things in, and kind of write down the order, have it in your head. Then you're going to start doing it. So that would be like I said, the wings and the motor. We're going to do the wings and the motor. I've already done the motor because I got ahead of myself, but not I had to do the motor to figure out the ESC wires. So sometimes you kind of go back and forth, and yeah. Anyway, I was reading the chat. I was reading Sean's chat. Little bit. Yes, I'm an auto technician. I work in a bay. It's full of crazy stuff. Yes, I love working on cars, but don't know how to do it. I keep my fleet of ancient cars going, but just barely. Like I just got my, put a power steering pump and alternator in my 1995 Jeep. Anyway, back to this. So wings and motor would be the first thing that I'm going to do. And then I'm going to do the flight controller, like figure out how to get the receiver from the tail. Like basically this is going to be kind of suckage. There's something I still haven't figured out yet. The receiver is going to be back here. And the flight controller is going to be basically right there. And the wires got to be soldered in the flight controller. See, that's how I smushed the bottom of this plane, just like I just did there. Kind of back here. Somewhere, one of these ports. I can't remember which ones, but somewhere over here. And how am I going to do that? I didn't want to have a plug. I didn't want to plug. I was going to have shorter wires and no plugs. But I think I'm going to have a plug to plug the receiver, because if I take this thing out, the flight controller is going to be on here. The receiver is going to be back in the tail. And I thought, oh, I'll just have these short little wires. How in the hell am I going to get them soldered on there? I can get it out this way, but this whole board's going to be taken apart. So I think I'm going to have a little bit of wireage kind of crammed in on the side here, where I have the receiver plug coming in and I have receiver wires coming out, and I make a plug with my connectors. So that's part of the planning of that. You got to plan all that out and figure out, what are you going to do? How are you going to put all this together? Because somebody else hasn't figured it out for you, like when you buy all the things from TBS. And like, where are you going to put this? Well, I'm going to mount this on the side of the fuselage inside here. Actually, I'm going to mount it with Velcro, not glue, so I can just grab it out of there if I need to. Okay, so I'm probably going to need to do a plug for the receiver, but I won't need to do a plug for the GPS, because the GPS is going to be right here. And I'm going to, the antenna's on top, and I'm just, the antenna, it's RX5, it's UART5 right there. So I'm just going to have a little blob of wire, and I'm going to put it together before I stick the whole thing in the plane. That way I can just glue it up, glue this on, plug the receiver in, and then comes the other wires coming from the front. The other wires coming from the front are going to be the FPV system, so the camera and voltage. So anyway, that would be step 4, would be, you know, the actual, the steps. I'm broken down into step 4, step 5, and step 6, because I had step 4 is wings and motor, step 5 is electronics, and step 6 is power, like the final ESC and stuff. But it's not necessarily all 4, 5, and 6 are kind of all mixed up together. So you do those things, and then you have a plane. That is okay. So I guess, I don't know why I wanted to go through that, but I kind of wanted to go through that, maybe for my own sake, just to amplify that I actually have a process here. Okay, so we're actually going to do some work here, but I'm kind of stalled because now I did this. So the question is, should I do the, I have to redesign this on Fusion, not redesign, but I just have to add a few millimeters to this piece. I think we're going to do that. So let's go to, let me see if I can do that. Bye, Sean. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to go to Fusion. And so then, what do I have a desktop for that? Center. And okay, now desktop center should have a mic. Okay, and look at desktop center, does not look so good. Hold on. What the hell? Oh my goodness. It's got to be shrunk down. Uh-huh. Okay. Hold on. Are you seeing all this? That's what I have to deal with. All right. There we go. I'm going to go over to desktop center for 1 second, and we're going to go as long as I still, yeah, my mic is still working. That's the first piece I designed for this on screen. Excuse me. I forgot to mute the mic for my swallowing. But that's not the piece we have to fix. So let's go here. We'll go through the whole process. So here's the, oh, maybe that's why I thought it would be in the center. See where I have that placed? So what we're going to do, that does look like it would be pretty close. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this component is active. It is. And we're going to find, nope, nope. We're going to try to find the extrusion where I extruded the side thingies. That's the one. So we're going to go to Edit Feature, 2.2, and instead of that, let's just say 5. Yeah. Okay. So now all we have to do is export this again. Save as mesh. Okay. And we're going to put it in the local computer, save to my local computer, and we're going to put it, let's go up one, not to Thingiverse, etc. yet. We're going to go to those. So I make a separate folder so I know what I'm putting on Thingiverse. So we're going to call it FPV Pod Chupito, and I'm going to delete all the other ones. Okay, so FPV Pod Chupito, save, replace, yes. Okay, save. Oh, replace it. I think I did this already. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to Creality, and we're going to go to Prepare, and we're going to get rid of this. Get rid of this. Oh, we'll have to fix that later. We'll just print this first one. And then we're going to go up one level. There it is, right at the top there. Okay, open. Then we got to rotate it. Select it. Rotate it. And let's go rotate it. And let's see here. Which side do we want to be facing towards the camera? This side. That's the camera's over there. So let's rotate. It doesn't matter what side's facing towards the camera. Silly man. Actually, I do want to see that side. So let's do this rotated around 180 degrees. Okay. And then zoom out. Slice plate. Check, make sure we still have. This interface is so effed up. I mean, look, this is where you've picked the filament up here. The text is eensy beensy teensy tiny. And then it's different sizes. And then when you go to the send print, so we're going to send print. We'll watch some of the stream on here. Start print. Okie dokie. Let me make sure it's cleared off. I think it's cleared off. But 1 second. Where'd I put my little scraper? I have to get rid of the little purge line here. Okay, now it's cleared off. It doesn't do a brim, or I didn't change any settings. I just said fire this puppy, download the software, fire this puppy up, and print. So it will upload, and then this window will go away, and then we'll get our camera view. And if we want, we can put it full screen, or at least sort of almost full screen. It does a bunch of stuff, so it'll take a while. Okay. I always throw it together as fast as possible the first time because I know I will crash it. The second time I'll build it much nicer. Well, I try, and I do that too sometimes. Okay, so now what are we going to do while that's going to set up its print? What we could do is the GPS wires. So I'm going to do a little twisty because I like my GPS wires. I like all wires actually on my planes when they're together like this to be twisted up. Now I'm going to be cutting a lot of this off, but might as well just get it all. And this good wire, this good silicone wire will, yes, Dollar Tree Ready Board. I had to put the logo on there because I love building planes with Dollar Tree Ready Board, and Dollar Tree Ready Board is good for so many things, including printer enclosures. So because I'm planning on, first of all, I have to upgrade my ANET A8 Plus, and I want to, I have a new hot end extruder for it that I got off of AliExpress. It's basically kind of like a clone of the E3D that they don't make anymore. The old version of the Hemera. Anyway, what was I saying? So, anyway, let's do a receiver. I don't know what I was talking about. So basically, we have to look at the Kakute website. Do I have that? Let me get that. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. OBS Web. Let's go here and get the Kakute. Here, Holly Bro Store. I've got two of them. Let's put that down there and minimize that. And then let's put this one up here. There we go. And then if I go to web page, we should be on the Kakute website. If I go to web page, we should be on the Kakute website, I say famously. So let's see if I can get to this window and make it a little smaller so I can see stuff on the other side of the screen. All right, that's okay. Let's go back to our, which window was that? Center. Oh, it's not printing yet. We're going to get to see how fast it prints in real time. It's doing the bed mesh right now, which it does at the beginning of every print. So it does a bed mesh, and then it does a little purge line at the far end. I'm going to put my little Dank RC logo in there too, but I couldn't find them, and I didn't have time to print them out before and stick it on there. I did this enclosure last night, but it was really late. And then today was Christmas Eve, you know, a bunch of stuff going on. Okay, back to where I was doing. Geez, I ramble on. No wonder nobody watches this. Okay, so where are we? Let's go back to web page. And when I think it's going to start printing, is it doing the purge line yet? No, it's not. It's doing the cleaning. Okay. All right. So we got to go here. Oh, we're going to start printing. Let's go back. Let's go back. Desktop center. There we go. Let's just watch it for a minute. And then I'll see if. Yeah, this is the first layer. So that does the first layer the slowest. I didn't change any of the settings. Oh, now the fan kicks on. You can't hear it from there, I'm sure, but it's blasting. And then the fan kicks on and it just starts ripping. And I don't change anything. I went to the slicer and I picked it came with like a quarter kilo, like 250 grams of hyper PLA in white. And I'm telling you, I am a tinkerer, but I am going to leave this thing stock and use the stock software. I'm not going to root it. I'm not going to do any of the things until I need to. I'm just going to get the I've already got hyper PLA carbon here. I got a spool of that. When this stuff runs out, this white stuff, I got a black spool of there. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to find the window. But look at that thing rip. I mean, I'm so old school. I'm used to such a slow ass printer that I just can't, I just can't believe that thing can rip like that. Anyway, okay, so should we actually do some stuff while it's doing that? Yeah, we should. So let's go to here. Let's go to I'm going to fart around with the thing for a little bit. Studio mode. Go up here. We're going to put um we're going to put we're going to make a copy of upside down. Never mind. We're not going to do all that. I should have prepped ahead. Never mind. Okay, let's do some work here. So let's go back to that, and we're going to put this down here. Oh, web page. Let's look at the web page for a second. And let me look at the web page for a second, which is where I lost it, of course. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go, GPS is going to this UART TX RX5. And I made some notes here, which is the colors. So we can go to that here. Notes. Smart audio. Oh no, that's the VTX. Where's my GPS notes? Nope, those are not GPS notes. Let's go back to that, or let's go back to that. Watch that blast for a minute while I thought I had the colors written down. So now I have to write them down again because I'm so disorganized. Yep. Let's do it again. So let's go on this side and we'll say GPS. GPS is TX is white from GPS. From GPS. TX and RX is yellow, right? That's yellow, yellow. Okay, so that means that if we go back to web page and we look here, TX will be yellow on the flight controller and RX on the flight controller will be white. Flight controller FC TX R5 TX will be yellow and RX will be white. So what we should do, and now how are we going to power that? Oh, right from the pins right next to it. If we look here, you can barely tell, but that's a 5-volt and that's a ground. Okay, so let's go to here. And that means that we're going to have this mounted here. We should fire up a soldering iron. We're going to solder some wires. Am I getting ahead of myself? Probably. We're going to solder up some wires. I've checked the flight controller. It's been plugged in. I went through all the iNav stuff. I did that off stream. Everybody's bored by what I do, apparently. So what difference does it make, right? Did you want to see that? I don't know. I'm really good at watching my own 3D printer as well. I sat there and watched it when it first printed, like the speed of it, was just, yeah, it blew me away. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get my chair. We're going to get my glasses. And we're going to change the soldering tip. I can do that here too. This is the wrong tip for this kind of close-in work. We need the little chisel. So we'll do that. Yeah, it is the standard USB power. Oh, so you're saying that this is powered by USB. So the GPS, you think it's powered when USBs? Well, we'll find out. We will find out. Okay, so what we need to do is take this apart. And I think we should, I had this USB extender on here for fitting purposes. Let's not lose that. Put that back in the flight controller bag. I'm going to order more of these on AliExpress after. I hope they're still available. And I hope I can get them in this country of horrors after this is, with all the things going on, which I'm trying not to rant about. Okay, so we're going to take this apart. I think I'm going to stick the wires in from underneath on this one. Tiny little screws. Yes, but the government, I would just advise all that live in the country that I live in to not comply with the government as much as possible. The government is not interested in your safety. Okay, let's carefully pull this apart so we don't bend those pins. Right? There we go. And we get our first look at this. So there's where our motor M1's going to go. That's going to be fun. It won't actually be that bad. It's got a hole in it. So thank you, Kakute. And they already did these. There is a little bit of smudge in there. Let me see if I can get it out. Right, what's that? It's just a little kind of something hit the plastic or something. Okay, so we'll be soldering on the ESC there, but we're going to wait to mess with these pins. Maybe we'll tin them today, but I doubt it. But that's all it needs to go there is just power and motor. So We are not going to mess with this board at all. And this bottom board is just a kind of a nice, very nice of them to put that on there. Well done, Kakute. The only thing that they didn't do is give me a buzzer pad. There's no buzzer. And now I'm trying to figure out if you can do a buzzer through it. There's like 4 million UARTs. I would have this is a mini board. I would have, a lot of people just need a few UARTs. I would have sacrificed one of the 27 UARTs for a, you know, I would have sacrificed one for a buzzer pad. I live far away from DC as one can laureate. I will continue to do as I please. Yes. Yes, let's all do that, because this is some effed up things we got going on here. Okay, so here, let's not get the top and the bottom mixed up. I guess the bottom's going to have the pins. So I'm going to come in from underneath. So we're going to be right here, and this is the back. So it's going to be right here. So we really don't need much wire at all. But I should put a little loopy-loop so we have some wire, right? So I should probably cut it about there. That's what we're going to do. We're going to cut it about there. If Robert were here, he'd be telling me what to do. He'd be saying, nope, don't cut it that long. Don't cut it that short. Don't cut it. And I'd be like, oh, shit, I'm always doing something wrong. And he saves me so many times. So now I'm going to make 100 mistakes because he hasn't saved me. Okay, but that's what we're going to do. We're going to cut it right there. Okay, and then we're going to get our clippers. Let's turn on the soldering iron. We're actually going to solder this. We're going to get some work done on this airplane. And I got to look. We'll actually see if we can plug in the computer too. Always add a service loop. Right. Especially in automotive, right? Yeah, that should be enough. That'll be right there. That'll be, at least I can get it in and out and around. If I need to resolder wires onto here, I will do that. If I made a mistake somehow, we can correct. What's the hardest thing in automotive is, and my cars are all 20 years old, 25, and 30. So I have an aging fleet. The pickup truck, the 92 pickup truck is even older. And the plastic connectors, you always break the clips on those things when you pop them off, to replace some aging sensor or something. Okay, we're going to get some soldering iron is heated. We have some solder. Oh, it's time to clear up the desk a little bit, though. I'm always afraid to screw. So here, hold on. Let's put things in the box. Here, let's check out the printer. Where is that? Web page? No, center. Oh, it's ripping. It is doing some ripping. I'm going to put these in there. We're going to put this. This goes back. This goes over here. This goes back in this here. All this stuff goes in there. Let's put this part of the flight controller away even. Back in its container. GPS goes back in its container. That way we only have the things we're working on out here, which is just the flight controller right now. Okay. It's ripping. Special pliers and a lot of picks. Yeah, I bet you do. I don't have those things here. I don't have a lot of tools. I mean, I have a lot of tools, but I don't. Every time I get into an automotive job, I find out, oh, I should have this tool or that tool. Or I wish I had this tool or that tool, or I wish I knew somebody with this tool or that tool. Well, I live near the geographic center of the lower 48. And that's not far away enough. So, I wish. Okay. We're still printing over there, but we're going to go back to this one. Yeah, that one. Okay, so I usually get my wood out, piece of wood, get my wood out. That was not what I meant to say. I get a piece of wood out. So I can solder on that. And of course, that piece of wood has a whole bunch of stuff on it, such as these batteries that I have to change the connectors on. Look at these batteries I bought in April 2022, and I have not used them. And I've not changed the connectors, and that's how little I've flown in the last couple years. That I didn't destroy the batteries that they were meant to replace totally yet. Okay, let's get the screws on here. Let's get all of our little parts on our piece of wood. And I gotta make some, oh, these are the battery connectors for those batteries. Yes. Don't lose our 4 little screws. Okay. So, we're gonna have our little, okay, so we're gonna go in that row. And from the end, I'm gonna go the end is TX. Jesus, I need to look at that with a higher magnification just to make sure, because I can't even tell from the picture. Yes, TX RX 5-volt ground. So it's going to be TX RX 5-volt ground. So TX, it's going to be yellow, white, red, black. Yellow, white, red, black. Just make a little legend for myself. Okay, there we go. So we're going to stick this kind of like that. And I'm going to do something else I always do. Tell me how I know. Hold on. I got to find it because I've misplaced that roll. Get another roll. Into the printing room we go. You hear that sucker going? Oh, it's blasting. Okay, here's some tape. This was the tape that was supposed to be in here. It's almost gone. So what I usually do is I'm paranoid. And I'm paranoid for a reason, because I've screwed up a flight controller before. So I take some tape and I cover up the part that I'm not going to be soldering on, so I don't flub it with a blast of something. Here, cover that up too. Because I'm going yellow, white, red, black into there. So let's just get, and we don't even need just but a little tiny bit stripped off and tinned. Yes, you have an excuse when you have a business, or you do that for real. For reals. Okay, that's all we need to do, I think. Maybe a little bit more. Let's do all of them. Here. I'm going to tin it first so I don't splay it out and have to fix it. Okay, where did I put my solder? Is this in camera? I can't tell. Let's move it over here. I'm sure it's out of focus. I'm sure it's bad. A bad streamer. It's Christmas Eve. You and I are the only ones here. So we may have some production issues. Okay. Oh, and I should turn on the fan. Okay. That'll be easy. Turn on the fan. This is going to be an easy solder job. People are afraid of soldering. They shouldn't be. Watch, I'll screw it up after saying that. Okay, and then we're going to do white. And I'm taking so long. Somebody could do this so much faster than me. I would never make it in a factory. I should strip them all first, then tin them all, and then connect them. These are so tiny they hardly tin. Tiny little wires. And I should be twisting them too. I didn't do that either. Okay. Oh, see, that one's splayed out. That's what happens when I try to twist it. There, don't splay out. That's why I'm tinning them one at a time so I don't mess them up. Oh, where did I put the fan? I didn't even put the fan here, so it's all going right in my face. There we go. I hope I'm on camera for worldwide audience of okay. Where am I? I lost my windows. Hold on. I got to make sure that things are still working. Oh, yeah. It's still working. All right. Black. We'll do the little strippity dip. And then that's too long. I keep getting longer and longer. That's just too long. I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. This soldering area, my whole desk is set up for right-handed, and I'm left-handed. But it's just the way I set this place up. It wouldn't work any other way, really. Okay, so now what we're going to do is try to twist these up. Get them kind of close together. And we're going to work our way. We're going to work our way to the outside. And here's where I'm probably going to have to change my glasses. Ah, that's not going to stay. So I'm going to have to hold it. Come on. There we go. We're going to change glasses to the high mag, where I can't see anything but right here, and the camera's right in my way. What I don't do for YouTube. Just get it in and out quick. I can't even tell if I got it. I did. Excellent. Nice little ball. Okay. Red is next. Get it in like that. There we go. Mm. That's good. I'm sorry I banged my head with the camera, but hey, if you got my big fat head in there, I apologize. It used to be way worse. Okay, then comes white. Those longer ones are actually a little bit easier to get in there. There we go. 10. 10. There we go. Got it. And one more. Yellow. I should have paid attention to the receiver wires. I probably have to put those right behind there. We could do those from the top if necessary. Come on, go in there. Stay. There we go. All right. Got it. Okay, so we have GPS. Now we got to see where I should have done this before is see where, hey, see you later. Play card games. Merry Christmas. Hope to see you next week. I'll be here. I hope to do some streams. And maybe some flight footage of some airplane that I fly. Have a good one, man. Thank you for watching. It's Christmas time. Everybody's doing Christmas timey things. Hanging out with their friends. Okay, I've lost one of the screws. Let's not do that. Let's keep them all right there. Okay, we're going to go back to the um, that's top center. Yeah. Oh, it's ripping. We're still not done, but we're not that far off because that thing is so damn fast. Okay, so let's go to web page. And let's go to the web page. That's the problem, is it's on your screen, but it's not on my screen. Okay. TX6RX. So we don't have to worry about those. We're not doing that. Where does the receiver go? Air unit. Analog VTX. S bus. Oh, over here. Okay. Back to this, and we have this, and we have it at TX. So RX is yellow, going to TX, and TX is white, going to RX. And that one we're going to clip off. Look at that big blob of solder that came through. This one we're going to clip off there. Okay, that looks good. So let's see if it's sitting in here. It's going to be sitting this way, dum-dum. And then this thing is just going to get glued there, and we'll just have a little loop of wire. It's perfect. Okay, so now let's think about the receiver. So let's get the receiver out and see what wires we got coming from that. Because if we get the receiver on there, then we can do all the binding and things and the programming and stuff. What time is it? 9:10. Okay, 20 minutes. So we're going to do the Happy Model receiver. This is so unorganized and so boring. No wonder nobody watches. I'm so sorry. But this was my idea to just do workshop. Oh, you're still here. I'd love to see some flying too. I'd love to see some flying. I am ready. I've got some video of some flying. I got some archive video that I was going to publish before I stopped kind of doing YouTube for a short time. Over a year. Short time over a year. Okay, yeah, we're on the right screen. Okay, we're going to get this happy model out of here. And we're going to solder some wires. So we're going to fit it into the, let's see how it's going to fit. Now, I don't understand. We could use this antenna, I guess, for 900 megahertz, but it seems like it's a 2.4 gigahertz antenna. But yet, this is only a 900 megahertz radio. And if we look, we go to web page and we go to this other tab. This is the ELRS page for this thing. Doesn't really mention the other antenna. We're going to flash it over Wi-Fi, I guess. I don't know yet. I'm still so new to this ELRS stuff that, yeah, I'm very new to it. Let's just put it that way. I feel very inexperienced. Okay, so this is going to go to UART2. And we don't have any labeling on this board. So let's go back to the happy model page because I think that told us. Is that the web page button? Yeah. Are we in studio mode? We don't want to be in studio mode. See, I don't know what I'm doing half the time with this internet thing. Okay, so here's a diagram. Let's check it to our real thing. Let's go back and forth. So we've got this here. So that looks the same. So ground, let's draw ourselves a little picture for the RX. RX is going to be ground, GND, and then 5 volts, then TX, then RX. Okay. So now it's up to us to get some little bits of wire. Let's fit it in there first and let's see how it's going to go. So we're gonna set this aside. We're gonna set this aside. I'm gonna put this back in the happy model. Oh, they even give me little bits of wire. How cute. I'm not gonna use those, but thank you. Thank you, happy model, for the effort. Let's put that up there. God, I'm gonna lose something. I just know it. I just know it. Let's put this back. Let's put everything off of this board. And then we'll move this back. I gotta extend the wires for that fan too. Okay. All right. Let's get this, and let's get the bubble wrap too so I don't smush the bottom so much as I have been doing. And let's switch back to this. Let's put this away. How are we doing on our print? Which button is that? Desktop center. Oh, we're cranking. We're cranking, but we still got a ways to go. Okay. So here's our receiver. I don't understand There's going to be that vertical one's going there. Where is this supposed to go? So that can go like that. If I can just, oh, look at that. It can go even further in there. Let's not get it stuck. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Don't do that. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it definitely, this little guy can go in there. But that's not going to go there because that is where that little spar goes. So now we got to get the fin and see how this is going to fit. I think we're going to fit it into the fin. Yep. This is the fin. Now, disappointingly, this piece is glued in. Why did they do that? Why did they have a separate piece if they were going to glue it in? Because now I'm kind of stuck sorting out this antenna. See, maybe I should put the little 900, the little guy on there, because that would definitely fit in there, no problem. Because I don't know how I'm going to fit this in here. That is way too much antenna. That is way too much antenna. Okay. Say it goes in. There's no thing going there. But there's no... Maybe I should go out and put it on the outside. I kind of don't know what to do. Let's see. We want it forward of that spar. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to dig it in there. I really wish they wouldn't have glued this thing in. I think I'm going to cut it back out. That's not going to be easy though. It's all glued in. They really glued it in. I wish they wouldn't have glued that in. Because I think I'm going to stick this kind of like right there. And I'm going to have the antenna in the middle inside of this. And just have it poking out. Which would have been so much easier if they hadn't glued this piece in. Why did they do that? It shows in the instructions that it's not glued in. I just don't understand. But yeah, that's how I'm going to do it. If you can see, the receiver's going to go there. It almost would fit through. It almost would be that I could wire this to the flight controller and push it through there, but I can't quite. So I'm going to take a picture of that. see what I'm saying? Like that. But I want it further back here. Well, not so much further, but it just goes upright. And I can poke it down that way a little bit too. Oh no, that's the motor mount. Okay, so it can't go any further than that down. So it'll just stick up out of the top. Yeah, we're going to bury this in there. I'm going to get some silver Sharpie. Where's my silver Sharpie? Right here. We're going to draw on this thing right now. This will be the end of the stream. We're going to go, basically we're going to draw a line like this. And this is where the biggie thing is. So see what I'm getting at there? Let's go back. Let's set this aside again. So this is definitely stage 2 of my thing that I never did. So now that we have that drawn out, I don't know what happened to the cap to this. There it is. Here's how it's going to go. So that it's going to go like that. So we're basically going to go in a straight line. We're just going to cut a slit into there that goes all the way through into the middle of that cavity. And we're going to push this in, this coax in very carefully. And see, we have a nice little line here that we've drawn for ourselves. So we can actually tape it. I'm actually going to go a little bit more of a, does that make sense? Yep. All right, we're going to do that. We're going to start that process right now with the next. No, I'm not, because I got to solder the wires first. I have to solder the wires first. So we should solder the wires first, and then I'll be done with today's stream. I'm sorry I'm so boring, everybody. But, you know, it is what it is. So maybe we should just end the stream now before I solder. That part isn't finished yet. Let's go see. Let's go see how we doing. That's the slow part. See how slow it's going? Oh, that's still like twice as fast as my other printer. Okay. All right, we're going to end the stream now. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, Christmas Day, because I might want to work on this, but I might be flying tomorrow. It's going to be, hold on, let me switch cameras if I can get to the right thing. It's going to be very nice tomorrow here in the Imperial Core. So, yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. I might be boring. I might stream more boring stuff about this not so boring plane, the Chupito, but I'm probably doing the most boring build or whatever of this plane, and for that I apologize. But it might be interesting to somebody someday. Just never know. With that, over and out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. I'll be back before New Year, but Merry Christmas.